how about we start by what color is your grounding cord?
Hmm. Yeah, so this process of taking my time or like connecting with Gaia has been super interesting lately. It's bringing up a lot, just this taking my time to actually let it sink into Gaia. So I want to honor whatever time is needed as I uh, move my grounding cord into Gaia.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
Oh, and I'm just going to pause you for a moment before you keep going to bring this distinction that first position is 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 really the place to start. And the possibility is that as you as you do it more and more and more, you develop the capacity to do it very quickly. And I highly recommend that you make this one of your experiments, to something like to go into first position 5 times a day.
hmm,
And because it is first position. It's the ready position of a possibilitator. It's the ready position of a radically responsible, authentic adult. And it's an initiation that you give yourself to develop your ability to go into first position, and also your ability to notice when you're not in first position, when you're not grounded. And eventually you gain the capacity. Someone says, what color is your grounding cord? And you glance and you know, and you say it because
gotcha.
yeah. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I will take my space now to see how it unfolds for me and how quick I can actually do it.
Go. Will you say something about how it's going as you do it?
Yeah, I notice some I think my gremlin is possibly a little bit more active than usual today, and I notice that makes me in general want to be very outwardly focused. And also when I'm being facilitated by women, it's so easy for me to get triggered in like mother parts. And I notice with you specifically, or no, not specifically, but just lately with women, I've been super aware on like really having to hold my space, and I'm practicing it now. You might notice, um, and it's just like because I was super swamped always in my childhood, so I'm really learning to take my space and push back and take my time for what is authentic for my feeling.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
and as I'm dropping in with my grounding cord, I notice there's something alive in my penis, and it's super like it keeps being scary to go there, to be there with other beings in the space, especially other women. Um, so I noticed that's what came up and kind of distracted me from actually like rooting all the way in Gaia. Uh, so that's what, and then I was like, okay, do I go there now or do I try to like do the court anyway?
Yeah. What do you notice? Can you like go back in time? Like you might need to use your clicker and click yourself back in time and find out how that went. What thoughts, what feelings? Because it sounds like a big like this thing happened in your box. This thing happened in your system where you started going into first position, and then brrr, will you see if you can find out what how that went?
What are you talking about specifically? Which thing?
Find out how it went in your system that you ended up in this place where you're distracted by your penis.
Mm.
Yeah, like retrace your steps or go back and find them. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's just I go in, I start sensing my whole being, I get in touch with my sensation, and then I sense what's calling me, and if and like while I try to connect with Gaia, so then this part was calling me in a way much stronger than my ability to connect with Earth
Yeah,
allowed
pause right
for.
there. Pause right there. Pause right there. Will you say the first things again?
Yeah, I sense my being and I
Okay.
sense what's calling.
When you say I sense my being, what do you mean?
I put my awareness in my bodies,
Okay.
my physical, my
Oh,
emotional, my energetical.
I think this is a great clue about how it starts to become something else rather than going into first position. So the first step is to notice your physical body and just say hello to it. Just notice it. And then notice the the center of your physical body, which is this grapefruit sized space between your hips, just up against the front of your spine, a couple inches below your belly button. What's happening?
Connecting with this space and just noticing a bit of bloatedness.
Yeah, keep noticing for this, your physical center, this space. Uh, Whatever's happening, just notice it. This isn't about changing anything. Do you got it? It can help to put one or both hands just down on your abdomen in, in front of your physical center so that you can really focus on it without getting distracted by the bodily sensations happening.
Yeah, it's a bit challenging because I think we sort of went into this conversation before because I have a framework that reality is this ball of sensation. It's like the tantric view is like all is energy. And so I'm just trying to deepen into that and open what is there already
Yeah.
and really take my space so it can like unfold naturally in a way.
Yeah, my suspicion is that you're trying to do too much at once.
Y-
And
That's that's interesting because I have the same story about how you're trying to guide me now. It's like, no, like not so much things, like just let me be for a moment and take my time to sense and like really until I feel okay.
yeah, and the first step of going into first position is to notice your physical body and your physical center. It's two very simple, very clear, there's not a lot to that.
So yeah, when I put my hand on it, I can feel my heartbeat in there. I can tell you also, surely there's times where I felt more clearly, like my whole
Wait,
energy is
wait,
there.
wait. What's your purpose in telling all of this?
Yeah, to be with you in this process of the first step of the center or the first position.
Okay. Mm, yeah. Mm. I wonder I wonder how that goes for you, because if your purpose is to be with me, then my and you're doing things in order to be with me for this purpose, then my sense is that somehow it's not already happening. How does that land for you, that you start explaining a lot about what's happening to you?
Yeah, it's my way to not feel.
Ah, thank you. And what are you avoiding feeling right now?
I notice my eyes are a bit teary, and I imagine there's also some anger somewhere.
Yeah, can you sense into your emotional body, what are you avoiding feeling right now? Out of the four feelings, again, super simple: anger, sadness, fear, joy.
Sadness.
Yeah, thank you. What if you let that sadness get bigger? Really, yeah, let yourself feel the sadness and find out what you feel sad because.
Mm,
And just pause right there. Just energetically pause yourself right there. And where are you looking? Where are you looking to find the information from your sadness?
I'm yeah, first of all, I'm trying to connect with it so I can feel it, and then when I feel it, I uh I would try to speak from it or with it and see how that flows.
Yeah, and my my coaching for you is, don't try to do it. Simply do it. You notice sadness, put your attention on the
Mhm.
sadness. Let the sadness be, the let it get bigger to the size it really is. If something happens, if something changes, just let me know what changes. And yeah, this is in a way, this is building your muscles of being with what is, without trying, without trying to get it right or make it go a certain way or something like that. And also to discover what starts to happen with your gremlin, with your box. Yeah, as you do these simple steps. What's happening?
There's fear on top of the sadness,
Yeah, thank you. Fear
making me
because.
breathe quickly and anxiously.
Yeah. So, how about, instead of using your fear to breathe fast and to tense your muscles, see if you can just let the fear be there. Yeah. 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 Let it be there and discover you feel fear because.
Fear of being alive. Uh,
Feel scared to be alive.
Fear of living life. I,
Yeah. And what other feelings are mixing in?
sadness.
Yeah.
Oh. Mm. Oh,
Yeah. What was that?
my belly is feeling contracted. Oh.
Yeah. And just that's another example of fear. So see if you can just, instead of letting the fear, using the fear to tense muscles as best you can, see if you can just feel the fear without tensing the muscles. Yeah, you're doing great.
Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh.
And keep some of your attention split watching yourself so that you can be noticing what's happening, so that you're also holding space for yourself, so that this is you choosing to do each step and noticing. And you notice, is this what's the feeling happening now?
Sadness, although it's more noisy than sensey. I don't know.
Yeah, just focus on what is the feeling without saying, comparing it, or just really honing in.
Oh, fuck.
What, what was that?
Yeah, I have a story that my heart is in a lot of pain and it's just super scary. This heart pain, like, oh man.
Yeah, yeah. And see if you can, instead of rocking, see if you can be with the heart pain and notice, is it anger, sadness, fear, or joy? You're doing great. This is how it goes. Just really do your best to put your attention on your heart and to be with your heart and notice. Just asking, is this anger, sadness, fear, or joy? Just notice the feeling. The heart is the center of your emotional body. What's happening?
Yeah, I need to tell you that I need more space. My space has been intruded way too many times, and I feel fear when you bring a lot of instructions and questions and things in a short time. And even though it may not seem for you like that, for me it enters like that, and I really need a lot of space and just silence in between so I can find my own rhythm to be with me.
Yeah. I want to invite you to open your eyes and come here with me right now.
Why?
I have a story that you have a story that you don't have space, and that it's because of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a victim story because you have space. You look around and see how much space you have.
No, I'm speaking verbal space, energetic space.
Yeah, notice that too. Because this is a emotional healing process possibility coaching space. And what I'm noticing is that you jump from thing to thing and you stay out of first position and you avoid feeling. And my sense is that when you get a lot of time and a lot of space, you go in all kinds of directions. And I'm this might be bullshit. You might be telling me exactly what you might be speaking from your wisdom of exactly what would work for you.
Yeah, I think it is because I've had to tell this to quite a few people and then it actually worked for me and I'm trying to figure out my system and apparently like when I feel that I'm somewhat in control of the space and what I let enter and people are very slow with approaching me, then it works for me to go into more of a feeling and surrendering. But like if there's this like just for my system a lot of pointings and questions and things, then it feels hard for me because it reminds me of then it's just a little bit overwhelming and like yeah, I don't want to be in this space of having to do or figure out because I get into the space on my own so much already.
Yeah, you don't want to be in a space of having to figure things out because you already do this on your own. And what I am not your mother. I am not saying you have to figure anything out. Do you see that this is you? This is a voice in you. And then you project that on me and other space holders. And then you miss taking it step by step.
Okay, so I'm going to, at my own pace, like try to go back to this pain I was feeling in my heart and see what happens.
Yeah, go.
Oh, mm. there's also a sense of like there's some anger building, or I feel some heat, and I'm somehow repressing it, I feel. And I wanna mention the intention for this session also was really this, because we somehow ending up somewhere, and uh, I just noticed we haven't clicked the space or um any bright principles.
Yeah, exactly. We started out with first position and ended up somewhere completely different. And my sense
Yeah,
is that this is your gremlin. This is what your gremlin does. You know,
yeah.
and then it blames me, or it says we're not on
Mm,
track, and then your gremlin's just running you around in circles.
yeah. God, stupid games. I'm so done with that.
What do you want from this space right now?
Yeah. My so I'm feeling like this restlessness lately. Like I know I could be doing things, more things, better things for myself and for Gaia, and I'm not doing them, and it's making me restless, I think. And I'm distracting and avoiding myself from myself, and my gremlin is big time in on that. And I I want to find out what is it I'm avoiding? What is more true for me to be doing than avoiding myself? What is more aligned with Gaia or Echo, or and I have a story that it might be that I want to be in a different location doing different things than where I am now, and I have a lot of other stories about it, that I might not have enough money or the timing is not right, and what about my parents? I haven't seen them in a long time, and
Well,
yeah,
have you heard the saying, wherever you go, there you are?
I've heard it.
Yeah, and what when you say you don't know what you're avoiding, a distinction about the gremlin is that the gremlin is avoiding feeling and responsibility,
Yeah.
and that's it. Because the gremlin's job when the gremlin is unconscious is to keep your box the same, to keep all of your survival strategies, including your idea of who you are, your beliefs about how it goes, all of these things. Your gremlin is working overtime to
Mm.
keep that safety in place because that's what made it possible for you to survive. And it's genius. It worked. Here you are. And now, as you've noticed, for being an authentic adult, this box doesn't work. This box gets in your way. It limits your access to possibility. And
Yeah.
even as you know, use different tools and skills and maps and processes to gain access to possibility, your gremlin shows up and has so many tricks in his bag and is distracting you from feeling. This is what I see the most. He's even distracting you from feeling by giving you all kinds of other feelings to feel and sensations to feel. This is what I see. And again, it might be bullshit. Everything is bullshit. Some bullshit is useful. And my my tips that I use for myself to discern what's my gremlin and what's my adult is, am I feeling? Where's my numbness bar? What am I really feeling? And to distinguish between feelings about the here and now from emotions about the past. This is a key distinction. So when I hear you say things like, you get into a lot of spaces with space holders, and then you start thinking that they're not giving you space, my what my scanners pick up is there's a feeling underneath that, but you're using that there's an emotion under it, and you're
Anger.
using that
Yeah.
emotion to tell the person they're doing it wrong in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and that this is actually your gremlin avoiding feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like responsibility, it looks like you're holding your boundaries, and it's not really the boundaries that you have. They're the boundaries you've made to protect you from this overwhelming influence, and it's not actually happening in the here and now. It seems like it is, and you believe it is, and then your gremlin, gets to keep you where you are. This is what I scan. This is what I see. And yeah, it might be off. It might be bullshit. And if it is, I'm still here with you because you're having your experience of your being, your box, your gremlin, your ego states from the inside. I can't know that. I can't have that experience. I can't see it so super clearly. What I can do is bring what I see from the outside, which is what you can't do. You can't see yourself from the outside. And this is why having a team is so powerful, because then you get both views. And this is why having more than one person on your team is so powerful, because you get a lot of different perspectives. And what I've discovered in my own research about shifting the purpose of my box from survival into expansion, transformation, creation is that the gremlin is key, because there are so many times when the gremlin food is it's so tricky to discern what is the gremlin food and what is actually the gold for me about what my gremlin's up to, so that I
Hmm.
can be choosing more and more often, rather than my gremlin driving the bus and getting me to all the same places I've always been, no matter how many times I change location.
Yeah. So something about that sounded interesting, like the last part where you said to find out what your gremlin is up to, and then so that you can change or speak with him about, uh, yeah, make a deal with him or something. It sounded like, I don't know how you
Yeah, I
describe.
mean that's not what I said.
Yeah.
That has been become part of it. Yes. And before I could train my gremlin, I the skill of going into first position, the skill of using my attention to do one thing at a time, the skill of inner navigating and feeling my feeling and letting it get bigger and finding out what it was and being able to discern emotion from feeling. All of this is like, no, I could go into gremlin training, but none of it will actually be even gremlin training if it's my gremlin doing the gremlin training. So to get this inner navigation, to be discerning the four feelings, emotions and feelings, and really be, because Else, my gremlin is the one who is doing the emotional healing processes. And that's low drama. That's a waste of time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm starting to get more insight about it, and I'm writing down things for an article at one point about this victim identity, self-sabotaging behavior, gremlin type stuff that's in my life. Um, yeah, and it will be different life. It will be a life where things are simpler yet harder in a way because I'd have to take
How about,
responsibility, and it means
well, how about instead of trying to decide or make up how your life will be, how about bring your attention right back to the here and now? And because I think this is another one of your gremlins food is predicting and deciding how it's going to be and getting really pulled away from the here and now by going into the future. Does that land as accurate?
yeah,
Yeah. And, this again, this isn't wrong. It's not bad. It's something you learn to do to survive. And it worked. And for you as an adult now, it doesn't work so well. Maybe sometimes it's a great skill to have to be able to anticipate, to be able to kind of, you know, and when you do it from a gremlin child place, it my sense is that it doesn't work. It's not so empowering, and it uses up time, and you make a lot of choices based on this, how you've made up the future, and then you actually aren't being where you are, getting to where you want to go, because you're between here and now and this fantasy future or this dangerous future, and you're navigating on those lines.
I see what you're trying to say somewhat, but not all the way.
Yeah, and
Because the part I don't understand.
I also don't want to get into any kind of argument about if I'm right or you're right, or if I'm seeing accurately or you're seeing accurately. The the purpose is about holding space to empower you to be here and now and feel, so that you can gain this competence, conscious competence in being in first position with all your bodies without being distracted and pulled in all these different directions by your gremlin.
Hmm.
What's happening?
Hmm. Ah. Ah. It's like I'm sort of being tortured and there's a sort of ball of fire in my neck. It's like super tight. Oh,
Hmm. When you look at that ball of fire with your energetic eyes, what color is it?
red.
And is it hot fire or cold fire or something in between?
Extremely hot.
Hmm. And what's the feeling? What's the feeling happening?
Yeah, it's mixed, maybe mainly sadness, I believe.
Okay, where is the sadness in your system? Can you put your hand where it is? Yeah. When you put your attention on the sadness, what happens? Yeah, yeah, that.
Mm, mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, let the sounds be big. Let them be as big as they really are.
mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, fuck.
What's happening?
Yeah, it's connected with my sacral area.
Do you have a towel out?
Mm, yeah. Sure.
I notice, would you pause for a second? I want to collaborate with you. What I notice is that I have this fear that this is your gremlin,
Okay.
and I don't know what to do.
Mhm.
Mm, like my sense is that there's a authentic feeling, there's authentic emotion there, and somewhere, and what I want is to empower you to navigate to that, to the authentic emotion that when you feel it and you make the sounds that will bring you all kinds of, well, bring you information and energy for your life, for healing, so that then you have more access to your feelings in the here and now to do your work. And I, yeah, I notice I have the story that I'm not yet a competent enough space holder to hold space for such a tricky gremlin.
Yeah, wow. I was just about to say, I'm sensing this, what I'm receiving energetically, or I'll put it like this, the story of what I'm receiving energetically is I'm not enough. Whatever I try to do in this session, it's not enough.
Not enough for what?
Not good enough, like, uh, yeah, it's like my gremlin is maybe trying to convince you that I'm not good enough, or anybody, including myself.
I think you might be mistaking me for someone who who needs you to be good enough or wants you to be good enough or that you have to be good enough for something about me.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm sensing.
Yeah, and my my fear is that if your gremlin's purpose, that your purpose is a gremlin purpose for being here to convince me that you're good enough, then already it's, you know, already it's up to me to create the experience for you of being good enough. And that would be rescuing, I think.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm just questioning, is my gremlin right now creating something just to get fed? Because I am sensing this weird kind of warm, hot energy in my throat. And
How about this as an experiment, that you let your gremlin speak? You choose that he speaks, and you find out
yeah,
what your gremlin has to say. But the difference is that it's not your gremlin taking over and you pretending he's wout and saying it as if everything he's saying is true. This is something different. This is an experiment in letting your
yeah,
gremlin speak, maybe something for like 4 minutes or something like that. And at 4 minutes, you stop. You choose that he stops. And then
yeah.
you can hear what your gremlin said. Do you
I'm
want to do
doing
that?
as best as I can to just get attention and confuse
Wait,
you
wait,
so that,
wait. The proposal was that you do this experiment, that you wout do the experiment. And do you see how you just let your gremlin start doing it without saying, yes, let's do it? It was a timed experiment. So it would have a beginning when the timer goes, and a middle when your gremlin is speaking, and then the timer would go off. Do you see how you let your gremlin take over just then?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I take a timer. I propose we do 3 minutes. Is that okay?
Yes, that works. I think that will work.
Okay.
Wait, did you start yet?
Yeah, I started. Yeah.
Okay, wait, pause it and reset it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, my proposal is that I keep the time.
Okay.
And I notice that my so that then you can be doing the experiment and I'm the timekeeper. That way
Yeah.
your gremlin doesn't have so much space to take over about the timing of it. And I'll count you in 3, 2, 1. and then say go. And when I say stop, stop your gremlin from speaking. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm doing as best as I can to confuse you and Nicole, so there's no space for actual transformation or change to happen because then your life would have to happen. And yeah, just taking responsibility and asking energy of you, and we're not gonna do that. Uh, it's much easier to let me lead your life, and yeah, we'll make sure you're comfortable and don't have to do a lot of things. You can be lazy the whole time. Yeah, you don't have to be an adult and grow up. You can just be lazy and meditate a lot and do a lot of feeling. Don't have to be into this big, scary world. I will take care of you if you feed me. You feed me also with food. I will make sure I will take good care of you. I know you don't like to be an adult, and it's my ways to find your weakness. I will show up when you go into adult things or try to build or be responsible. You will never be good enough. More healing. I'm taking over your mind. Can sense me or meditate on me. I'm in you.
And stop. How was that for you to hear your gremlin speak?
Yeah. Some of the parts I knew, some parts were also new. Um, yeah. Yeah.
And how is it for what are you feeling about it?
Yeah. Mm, anger because it's so fucked up. And there's also curiosity, like, okay, so that part is there, it's really there. How how do I actually end up being an adult, like a responsible, like being willing to be a responsible adult, like because this gremlin is making it really hard and it's hard already, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
there's so much confusion about how this thing called life works, and I'm just increasingly finding myself so helpless and confused. Like I try so many paths and different ways and things, and there's just no possible way to be in control or, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you feel confused and you try so many things to be in control and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
What I've discovered about confusion is that confusion is actually anger. And I wonder what happens if you say you feel angry. Maybe the next experiment in this space could be you just say I feel angry for 1 minute. Just over and
Yeah.
over, and maybe something else comes to be said, but maybe it's only I feel angry and you really feel it.
Yeah.
Do you want to do this experiment?
Yes.
All right. And my proposal is also that before I say go, that we do a quick getting into first position so that you can be saying I feel angry from your center, from your physical and energetic center. Does that work for you?
Great.
All right. So put your attention on your physical body. Let's do a scan head to toe. And then put your attention on your physical center, the grapefruit size space, couple inches below your belly button, between your hips, toward the front of your spine. And then look for where your energetic attention and energy are and bring them into your physical center so that you create the experiential distinction of being energetically centered. And when you have that energetic experience of being centered with your energetic body centered on your physical body, use your clicker to set a grounding cord. It's instant. I have a grounding cord, and it exists between your physical and energetic center and the physical and energetic center of the earth. And when it's in place, look at it with your energetic eyes and notice what color it is and say the color.
Green.
Thank you. And next, use your clicker again to declare that you have a bubble around you, a personal bubble of space. And inside that bubble is your space. And outside of it is everything and everyone else. And check it to make sure that it is complete, that it is intact, that there are no holes. It looks like there's something in your bubble. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you notice something in your bubble, there are many possibilities. One of them is to use your anger to make a big clap of your hands and make a sonic boom inside your bubble that pushes everything that's not you out, like this. And when you're ready to go from there, let me know, and I can start the timer for 1 minute of I feel angry.
Oh,
Go.
I feel angry because I don't like to be on this planet. I feel angry because there's too many confusing options to choose from. And I feel angry because I don't choose. I feel I feel angry because it's hard to feel my anger. I feel I feel ah, ah,
Yeah,
I
go.
feel angry because it's scary to be angry. Ah,
Yeah, go.
I feel angry. Ah, fucking destroy.
And end and stop.
Mm,
Yeah, and like bring
mm.
it back down and just notice for a few moments what's happening in your system. And will you open your eyes? I heard you say, Wout, that you feel angry because you don't want to be on this planet. And that you feel angry because there's so much to choose from and you're so confused. And you feel angry because you don't choose. I also heard you say you feel angry because it's scary to be angry. Thank you for doing this experiment, finding out more about your anger.
Yeah, I feel angry because I don't know what I want also.
Yeah, you feel angry because you don't know what you want.
Then I'm wasting time and time is precious and I have something to do here or be here.
Yeah, yeah, you feel angry because you're wasting time and time is precious and you have something to do here. And what's happening with the rocking of your body?
Yeah, I feel fear, the fear of actually stepping into a lot more anger because it's powerful and yeah, I don't want to destroy or hurt.
Yeah, yeah, you feel fear of stepping into more anger because it's powerful and you don't want to destroy with it.
And I need it. I need it because it's my energy and I don't have enough energy otherwise.
Yeah, yeah, you notice how you need it because it's energy. And without your anger, you don't have so much energy. And yeah, I just want to check because my scanner, my gremlin picked up that your gremlin started to do something there.
Yeah, it's trying to feel. Oh.
Yeah,
Then when you say that, I make connection to something more authentic and I feel this like burning in my perineum.
and what's the feeling? Anger, sadness, fear, or joy? And really find out by sensing and identifying which one it is rather than by figuring it out and making it
I
into something.
don't want to fucking figure everything out. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exhausting to be figuring everything out.
Yeah, and you can't figure life out, sadly enough, because I tried.
Yeah,
I'm I'm fucking done with it. Fucking done.
well,
I don't want to do
will-
any EHPs anymore.
well, will you open your eyes and be here with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
I don't want to do any fucking EHPs anymore, and this fucking gremlin thing keeps trapping me in, and I just want to live my life, and I I keep falling for its bullshit.
Will you say you don't want to do EHPs because?
Mm, no, I feel resistance, and my gremlin is just wanting to resist for no reason.
Yeah, a distinction is that gremlin always has the purpose of avoiding responsibility and avoiding feeling. Until it's trained and it's doing jobs you gave him to do, and he's doing them. For now, the gremlin a gremlin does whatever jobs you unconsciously gave him as a child to do to survive.
Yeah, it's like just trying to resist to avoid getting more swamped or something. And it's not, I know it's not needed anymore.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and even when you notice it's not needed, that is not enough to create something different yet, because this has been
exactly.
years and years and years in the making and in the
Yeah,
patterns, and those grooves are really strong.
yeah,
They're survival grooves. And so this is what I think and Chloe was pointing to the day that she posted this post for you in, I think it was the Possibility Creation Village.
yeah,
And to me, when I read that, it landed as such gold, like such, like, to me it was gold. And yet she offered it with this purpose of, I think, of empowering you. And something that comes is that, something in your being, like, you found this game world where since 1975, which is before you were born, Clinton and other possibilitators have been figuring it out how to not figure it out, figuring out how it can go so that authentic adulthood can happen, so that
hmm,
collaboration can happen, so that living our archetypal lineage can happen, being our archetypal lineage in action and our bright principles in action, with awareness and discovery about the shadow principles and purposes that are alive, and choosing the bright, choosing to do what we want to do, maybe not always even choosing the bright, because light is not good and bright and dark bad. It's about choosing what will create the consequences of your archetypal lineage now, and experimenting and messing up and finding out new information about how it can go.
Yeah, that's my question. Is like, what is my archetypal lineage asking of me? Like, how can I get into a flow of something, of being of service?
Yeah. Can I tell you what I've figured out about that?
Sure.
Is start over. Go back to first position. Go back to feeling. Go back
Mm.
to phase 1, which is learning how to feel. And then everything else starts to unfold from there. And I go back again when I get to the part where it's like, oh, this isn't working. Start over. First position, feeling what's really going on about my box, about my gremlin. It's like I'm always in kindergarten. I'm always going back to the basics, the simplest distinctions. And this is what I notice seems to work for others too. Like when I get overwhelmed, the question is that, like, the most empowering thing I found to do is get in first position, ask for a space, find out what I'm really feeling, and then do the experimenting so that it's EHP spaces and experiments so that I can really make the shift. Practice making it over and over and over until it becomes unconscious competence. And then start again around the learning spiral. And one of the hardest things for me to do is to not turn the space holders into persecutors and me into a victim of their incompetence. Or whatever shadow purposes I think they're using, which may be accurate. It's not about right or wrong or good or bad or who notices. It's about everyone has a shadow, everyone has a gremlin. And who can hold space for me? Who can I hold space for? And figuring it out together with the team. This is what I've discovered. And I offer it to you in case it's useful bullshit. And I want to say something too about how when Gremlin takes the wheel in an emotional healing process, what I've discovered, I think, is that evolution is still happening, because evolution is Gaia's space. This is the space where evolution is happening. And even in wasting time, even in Gremlin takeover, there can be gold about that. Even if the gold is, something you said earlier, you don't want your gremlin to take over so much. And you used more of an absolute, like, I don't want this anymore. And this is great. And it happens, you get yourself back inch by inch, or 16th of an inch by 16th of an inch. And this is the path.
Mm,
It's how it goes. 1 step forward, 3 steps back, 3 steps forward, 1 step back. And it
mm.
keeps asking of you to feel, and it is painful. And anyone who tries to tell you otherwise is trying to sell something that you don't need. And if you buy it, that's not wrong. And I see the part of you, and I see and I trust the part of you that is committed to finding your compass, being the adult that you're creating, that you can be. And I'm a huge go to that. Yeah. Yeah. That. What was that?
I feel sad because it's so messy being a human, and like there's a part of me that looks for perfection and clarity and like a roadmap and all of that, and
Yeah. Yeah. You feel
instead it's
sad.
just confusing and well, oftentimes suffering.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel sad. It's messy being a human. There's lots to confuse. There's lots of suffering.
Yeah, my heart is in pain. I don't know why. I feel fear to find out also.
You feel fear to find out because.
Mm, because it might show me that my X on the map is worse than I want it to be, and that maybe the pain I'm feeling is not about my past or any childhood thing, but about who I'm being now.
You feel scared to feel your heart in case it tells you where your X on the map really is, and that it might be about where you are now.
Yeah, I feel I've been sort of going everywhere except my own conscience. And yeah, I mean, I guess my conscience is my heart. And just basic things like being a good human or something, or doing the right thing. It's what I've been in a way ignoring because of, yeah, what you said, this future projection to, oh, I will have that game plan or this dream, you know.
What if it wasn't about getting it right or not getting it wrong? What if it wasn't about being good and avoiding being bad?
Okay. What was it about then?
What if it was about something else that isn't about if you're good you get rewarded, if you're bad you get punished, or if you're bad you have to punish yourself before someone else punishes you. If you're wrong you have to apologize and you have to make it right. If you're right you have to be responsible and
No. Yeah, when you say that, it reminds me of I had a session with Eloise, and there she also said, yeah, you just, well, you have to really learn expressing just to express, not to have a meaning behind it. And what you're sharing now reminds me a bit of that. I'm not sure if you intend it to be the same way, though.
hmm, well, I mean, I speak from my own experience of growing up out of this good, wrong, right, bad rules box that was so limiting, and discovering what rules I use on myself and how I punish myself for breaking them and think that I should be rewarded for following them, and then have this resentment for the universe that me being good isn't working, me doing the right
Mm,
thing, I'm not getting rewarded for it, and this resentment, and then this more gremlin feeding, like you said, like just going back to gremlin feeding and not taking responsibility, not feeling.
yeah, I have a similar thing with like I'm being a good spiritual boy, like I do all the breath work and all the healing and it's not working in a way, or not working on all the levels I would want it to work.
Yeah, yeah.
And I keep doing it, and it's like, fuck me, like, stop, Wout, stop. Like, oh
And
my,
it might even be that you do it some of the time when when you when it's like this is what will work. This is
yeah,
what
because in a way it really
nourishes you.
works. When I
Yeah.
am swamped and overwhelmed, that's the thing that helps me get out. But it's not the sustainable thing. The sustainable thing is building a life, building an adult life, and that's what I'm starting to realize is like it's a different thing and a super important thing also.
Yeah. 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 I get this image of, we get this, we get from modern culture, we get this thing about doing something. You have to do something about it. You have to fix something. You have to do something. And so then there's more to do and more to do and more to do. And it's not working. And I'm trying to be good, to do all the things I'm supposed to do. And this is modern culture bullshit thoughtware. And yet the thoughtware that works isn't don't do it. It's not black and white like that. And to learn to come into being in the here and now and choosing what to do, not off the good bad menu, but off of the possibility, limitless possibility access, and using feelings, anger, sadness, fear, and joy to discover what I want to do, to be, to not do, to not be here and now as my archetypal lineage in action. And failing and experimenting and failing and and it unfolds. It's unfolding. If I can do it, I think you can do it. Have you noticed in the past, I think we've been in communication for about a year, maybe?
Something like that, I think, yeah.
Ha- have you noticed new results that you can celebrate?
Yeah, for sure. I think in general it's double. It's like there's more safety and there's also more awareness of fear. And so it doesn't always look like I improved, but there's just more awareness of the fear of life or living, and there's more safety. And I want to check in more specifically in the PM context because I've done also work with a normal therapist around this. Um, yeah, and also definitely my ability to space hold is just gone through the roof. Like, uh, I was giving a spontaneous EHP that I told you about, which was next level. Like, it was legend creating. Like, the woman next day went to a women's circle and then told the legend about how legendary that space holding was, and then somebody was coming here just to meet me to ask if she could have a EHP with me. I was like, wow, this is like how legend making goes. And in a way, it was just me. I entered the land and I was asked to do like farming work here, and that morning I woke up and I was like, I could do farming work, but I could give you so much more value if you'd help me with your gut issue because I'm a healer. And it was fearful for me to say it, but I said it, and we had the most magical EHP, like 1 hour and a half, and she managed to completely shift something that she'd been holding for 3 years. So yeah, that was magic. And I will say my ability to space hold has improved a lot with PM because I was able to click back to past lives, which is something I learned here. And but that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Well, I feel joy to hear about those legends, and I feel glad to see you noticing new results and celebrating new results.
Yeah. And there's this, we also talked about it, there's this desire to be a possibilitator. Um, and somehow, like the path is just not being clear towards it. It's like this gremlin work keeps being in the way, and I keep trying to do it, but then I don't really find a team, and it goes so, it's not flowing smoothly, the path towards doing the gremlin work, and then maybe one day the Rage Club space holder, and so I don't understand it. I have this like desire. Yeah, I can be a feelings level 2 space holder or whatever. Um, and somehow life is just saying not yet or something.
Hmm. Yeah, that that sounds familiar from my path. Was, there were times when I when I thought I was doing something. I thought I was training my gremlin, and in a way I was. It was the first experiment. And then it kind of went off the road, and I had to really get that it was off the road before I started to get the pain of how it was going, and then
Mm,
started gremlin training again, but this time, not yes, going back to the the distinctions, the very basic distinctions, and there'd been more discovered by the coaches, the gremlin training coaches. So there was yeah, it's kind of this, yeah, steps forward, steps back, pain, and getting the knack of, instead of resisting the pain and trying to avoid the pain and trying to make it go away and being mad about the pain, to feel it. And then get the gold and turn around and deliver something to someone else as part of how I gain capacity and skill.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah.
was so interesting. When I was giving the EHP, I could just hear people speaking through me. It's like I could hear you speaking through me. I could hear Dor speaking through me. Like all the people that gave me sessions or somehow became part of me and were like channeled through me was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Cool.
mm. And I want to add something that I'm picking up on a meta level, like how scary it is for me in general to connect to somebody. I feel like only now after an hour chatting with you, I feel sort of safe to just show myself with what's here. And I noticed that's yeah, that came after the showing the sadness. And now I feel a bit more connected and safe to be connected in a way. And I
Yeah.
feel there's a little chunk more, but it's like it's allowed to have its time also. It's not necessarily like we need to dig in, like I can be with it and be with you and in the space or something.
Yeah. Thank you. And I invite you to, like, what, when you say safe, what do you mean? Because
Yeah.
safe is it's not one of the four feelings.
Yeah. It's mm, in a normal context, I would say somewhat safe to be myself. And when you ask that question, somehow it brings me, I think, closer to fear that I'm feeling, which would then possibly be fear of being myself, which is like a warm contraction around my heart that I feel now activated.
Yeah. And is that emotional fear or a feeling of fear?
Emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. This is also what I've discovered. Know that when I have this experience that I call not safe, unsafe, that it's it's often it's I actually am safe. It's my emotional fear of showing up authentically, and what I unconsciously think will happen if I show up authentically, that is happening. And then I call this space unsafe. And it's bullshit, because the space is a space of transformation. The space of transformation is absolutely unsafe for my box, and that's why I want it. And so it becomes this way of my gremlin putting my foot on the gas and then putting my foot on the brake. And and this is, to be more clear about, oh, this is my gremlin. I'm avoiding feeling scared. And so then in my mental construct, or my survival strategy, is to blame and shame and and like shift the responsibility for making the space safe to somebody else.
Mm.
And sometimes there's some beating up myself. I'm like, well, you chose to be here, so you know you made it happen. And this too is gremlin. Yeah, I look forward to hearing from you more as you keep going and keep discovering this distinction about the possibility of dangerously safe transformational space. and to find all the different emotional fears that, for me, the experiences, they really clamp me, like they wind me up into this smaller version of myself, this smaller, really incompetent version of myself. And as I do more and more fear work and more emotional healing processes, I have more space where I am safe to be me, because it's my space that I'm creating. My space is safe for me. Even if someone else is coming at me with something, I can hold the space with them because I'm holding my own space. And again, this is very much about having my center, my grounding cord, my bubble, my sword, all of my feelings available, and my conscious sphere to watch and notice. Is there anything else before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I'd love to just give this energetic exploration that I feel is unfolding a bit more space. I notice something is settling in me, some energy that was before more up in the air or up in my body, in my throat. It's settling in my emotional body center.
Yeah, cool. That sounds like something's integrating.
Yeah, I see the notion of a sense of wholeness on the horizon, whereas in the beginning, or maybe, yeah, I feel there's parts, there's fragments of my energy body. I see like I said, the notion of wholeness on the horizon.
Yeah, go. Yeah, I think this is how it goes. Starting, just the next thing starts to show up. And this, I think one of the survival strategies is often like removing a part of myself, as a child or in the past energetically, and to bring it back and have that part back again. And also to remove blocks, take things out that I brought in to survive. This is all, yeah, part of it. Is there anything you see as a next step for you? Another EHP or an experiment that that would that you can take from this space to keep rolling?
I'm feeling more and more liquid, so I I could answer that, and I'm not sure if I want to right now. I want to ask if there's a possibility we make it till, so this call would be 2 hours, so we have 18 more minutes to just be with this unfolding energy around the heart area. I would really appreciate that, and just want to check in if that's a possibility also.
I'm not available for much longer.
Hmm.
And a possibility I have for you about what it sounded like you wanted from a longer space.
Hmm.
Do you want it?
Yeah.
A possibility I have? Yeah. It's it's that my sense is that something happened, and that it's starting to integrate, and you're feeling the the consequences of how it integrates. And
Mm,
what I've discovered about integration is that your bodies know what to do.
mm,
And it's mostly a matter of nourishing yourself while the integration happens and letting it happen, and not trying to fix something as if something's wrong, or do something as if you have to do something. And so my invitation is to experiment with maybe like going for a walk, maybe having some food if you're hungry, some water, maybe doing, connect with the earth, and just watch the integration happen rather than trying to make something happen. How does that land for you?
Yeah, actually, yeah, and the story I have is that what's integrating now is this exactly that came up when we were talking about a possible projection to the mother. It's like now there's a there's a safe female other person, and like this old thing is finding enough space to integrate and come up and in the safety that's here.
Yeah.
So I think that's, if I were to give it, like try to figure it out, that would be it. And yeah, I will go to nature to see how it wants to do that, also without another being.
Yeah, cool. I think this is a great experiment, and I also I have an experiment that seems really that I want to propose to you. Do you want to hear it? The experiment is, I think I even described it at some point, was to commit to for a week going into first position 5 times every day for a week.
Mm,
And some of the ways that I've done it is sometimes I've set timers on my phone, or I have put a note in the bathroom for myself so that when I go to the bathroom, I am reminded, go into first position. Also, when I wake up and when I go to bed. And this, I started doing a version of this experiment in my 20s. And I think the matrix that it's built for me about being present and being grounded and in my own bubble of space has been priceless. And even I still go back to that experiment and do it again. It's that significant, it's that consequential. And I highly recommend it. Will you do it?
yeah, and I will commit to 3 times a day. And I want to ask if you would check in with me the day after tomorrow.
I will check in with you the day after tomorrow.
Thank you.
And my question is, why 3 times a day when you could do more?
Mm, 3 times feels like a good edge for me. 5 times feels like it might get, it feels maybe like over the top, and like might just get disturbing, and like I don't, then I just might start sabotaging. So I'd rather uh go with 3 times.
Thank you. I heard you say that, I mean, I'm changing your words a little bit. What I think I heard you say is that you feel scared your gremlin would get a hold of it and sabotage it if you made it 5 times.
Yeah.
All right. I feel glad for you to start with 3. Yeah.
Will you let me do that in that space while we're here, and then I know my gremlin doesn't take over.
When you say, "Will you let me do that?" I feel scared because it sounds like you're giving your authority to me to decide what happens in this space.
Okay, so I will do that now in this space. Um, yeah, there's a part of me that does want to check if that's okay for you because we are sharing the space.
Yeah. So a possibility is you could say, does it work for you to hold space for me to do that right now, once before we leave this space?
Great, yeah. So does it work for you to hold space for me 1 minute while I do that now before we leave the space?
Yes. And I also want to have 3 or so minutes to talk about what we want about this video recording because we've been recording this.
Yeah, great.
All right, I'm holding space for you to go into first position.
Hmm. Gotcha. So I have one 8 o'clock, one 5 o'clock, and one 9 o'clock.
Ah, I misunderstood. I thought that you were going to go into first position while I held the space. And what
Ah,
you did was you
n-
set the timers on your
yeah,
phone.
yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Mm, yeah. And I'm going to go into the next piece, which is, does it work for you for me to, one of the mm, commitments I've made is to record possibility coaching sessions, which include emotional healing processes for the possibility coaching website. And does it work for you if this becomes one of the videos on the possibility coaching website? It would be
Mm,
it would be viewable by whoever saw it.
yeah, and would you put my name in the title or not?
No, I mean
Okay,
you.
so then,
I've named you. I've said your name a few times in it,
yeah, no,
but you
that's
wouldn't
okay,
be.
but maybe just not if people Google it and stuff. So just don't mention my name in the title or in the tags, and then it's okay for me.
Yep, perfect. That's how it would be.
Hmm. Great.
Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to have this video available for people to see as an example of possibility coaching.
Mm. Thank you for holding me, Nicole.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing this work, Wout.
Mm.
Will you open your eyes and let this appreciation in? I look forward to seeing you in other spaces, and I will be in touch the day after tomorrow.
Thank you, Nicole. Have a great day.
Thank you. Goodbye for now.
Bye.